the Strait of Hormuz has been closed. This is a post here that's just coming in, and the Associated Press is reporting that Iran's Joint Military Command saying today that the Strait of Hormuz has been closed again, citing Israeli attacks in Lebanon and U.S. bad faith and, quote, its clear breach of its commitments by failing to end the war. The statement on state television also warned that, quote, if the aggression continues, subsequent steps have been planned. Ships had begun transiting the strait after the interim U.S.-Iran agreement was signed just a bit earlier this week. Now, we've been reporting here this morning that Israeli strikes on southern Lebanon this morning killed at least 16 people, including 2 children, hours after reports emerged of that ceasefire agreement. Now, the persistent fighting threatened that agreement between the United States and Iran to end the war in the Middle East. Bringing you this live look here this morning, courtesy of marine traffic of the Strait of Hormuz at this moment here, as we're bringing you this breaking news. Once again, learning here that Iran's joint military just saying that the Strait of Hormuz has been closed again, citing those Israeli attacks in Lebanon. Iranian state television says the...
Can I pause it for a second? I want to explain this real quick for people that don't know, that's probably new here or don't know the information at all. People, I know, like, I'm black, so I didn't even know about the situation until I started Googling about it and started researching. But for those people that understand, the Strait of Hormuz is in the Middle East part of the country, over by, like, AUE, Dubai, all that shit. Now, for this, I see y'all see my cursor right here. You see, this is Iran right here, right? You see my cursor? That's Iran. But look, this little piece is Iran's too. So that's what makes them able to control the Strait of Hormuz, right? So they're able to close or open this part right here, which allows or don't allow oil to get through type shit. So they are thinking about putting tolls through this, not letting people through, so they can control a lot based on just controlling that land piece. Now, I don't know how they got it. Let's just say they did got it. I don't know if it was a solution if you just take it, so then now they can't really do that, so then they don't have that much control over this section. I'm not 100% sure, but let's just say that it's closed again due to the lack of us keeping our deals with the 14-point agreement with Iran. Now, I wanted to Google what happened, but let's just say, and be honest, before I start with that, I just want to let y'all know it's Israel's fault. Yeah, Israel, they don't give a damn. They want war. We don't want war. So they're the reason why, for real, this is all happening. We didn't do anything. It was the fault of Israel. They're not holding up the side of the deal. And then Israel, and since they're not holding their side up, it kind of benefits us because we're supposed to be the big brothers, right? So if we're the big brothers and the big brother promised somebody else, hey, Israel's not going to attack you, and then a day or 2, 3 days after the deal, Israel attacks you, the deal's off. Sorry, bro, you got to get your foot soldier in order, right? That's kind of what's going on. So I want to at least get to the nitty gritty so y'all can understand a little. This is a little education. Like, I'm not going to go super in depth into it. I'm just going to keep it simple. 14 point, start off the first point, the end of conflict on all fronts. The agreement for the U.S., Iran, and allies will declare an immediate and permanent termination of military operations on all fronts, including Lebanon. Okay, that's very important, including Lebanon, you know, because that is the whole reason why this deal just got, like, destroyed in a way. You know what I mean? That's the reason why they just closed it again. Point 2, respect for internal affairs. Read verbatim to reporters in a call with the U.S. officials. Note that the U.S. and Iran will respect each other's sovereignty and territorial integrity, which means we're not about to try to close your territory, I believe. I think that's what that kind of means. Because at one point we was trying to strong arm them, say, hey, we're going to push through that, and if you want war, we want war. It's like, you can't do that, and that's why all the other countries didn't kind of help us out, which is another thing, too. So, like, if Trump is saying, hey, we're going to push through that motherfucker, and y'all say, nah, we're not going to do that, like, all right, well, when y'all need help from said country, don't ask for help from this country, because we need that oil, you know what I'm saying? And that's our problem is the need of thing. Maybe we should do something that doesn't require to have it. An extendable 60-day timeline. So I think that they were extending the timeline for negotiation. It's a 60-day timeline has now begun after the leaders of the two countries officially signed the MOU. And the thing is, this all happened on Donald Trump's birthday. I think it was the 18th or 9th. No, was it the 18th? Or was it last weekend? Was it the 14th? It was Donald Trump's birthday when all this thing was signed, so it's official. But then Israel's like, nah, that's y'all deal with him. We not agreeing on that. You know what I'm saying? What up, Jones? U.S. to end blockade. You know what I mean? So we gotta. That's one of the points to end the blockade, because they was like, hey, if we ain't getting through, nobody getting through type shit. So they was trying to like on some mob shit. Point 5, the Strait of Hormuz. So part of the agreement notes that upon the signing of the MOU, Iran will make arrangements using its best efforts to allow safe passage of commercial vessels through the Strait of Hormuz with no charge. Point 6, money for Iran reconstruction. Now this is the point where a lot of Americans were misconstrued it. They were saying that, well, we spent like $30 billion on the war itself, but now we're giving them $300 billion in reconstruction and economic development for Iran. The final mechanism will be agreed with the 30 days of the final deal that all license waivers and permissions will be granted by the United States. However, it doesn't mean the U.S. will be financially involved. So I guess over the time span of like the deal over time, I don't think it's immediately that we'll be giving them $300 billion, but it's a bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? It's sanctions that we put on them and stuff, like money we hold pretty much from giving it to them. Sanctions to end. U.S. will, that's point 7. The U.S. will terminate all economic sanctions against Iran, including the UN Security Council resolutions and those. And so sanctions done. No nuclear weapons. So that's the agreement. That's really the whole reason for this. Technically, that's what they tell us. You know what I mean? There's always an alternative reason why they're doing this or they're not doing this. Some say it's due because they were trying to exchange the USD into the Chinese yen instead of using USD for their money. Because you understand, when another country doesn't use their money, our money for a certain business, it devalues our money. And then next, you go look on the market and the USD value of it went down less than $1. Other countries have done that. So we start war with countries that try to not use our currency because it will lessen our dollar. But it's a catch-22, because then we spend billions of dollars to do that, to just stay at the same point we originally were at. You know what I'm saying? So I will say the Obama's agreement was fine. You know what I'm saying? They weren't making nukes in the first place. They were enriching uranium, which, you know what I mean, they are allowed to do. 9 and 10 in the status quo. Following two part of the agreements specify that the U.S. and Iran agrees to a status quo that the nuclear program in the meantime will until the enriched uranium can be dealt with. In practice, this means that the U.S. will not impose new sanctions. In the meantime, it will issue waivers for the export of oil, petroleum products, and other associated services, such as banking transactions and transportation. So that has something to do with it, man. I don't know what that really means. I ain't gonna lie, I don't know what that means. But point 11, frozen funds. The point would be a significant impediment of negotiation. So all the funds, because we technically owe them money, we just haven't gave them the money. Monitoring the financial agreements. So 12 through 14, monitoring the final negotiations. Anyway, let's do that. That's points. Those are irrelevant to the main point. The main point is no nuclear wars, right? No nuclear weapons. And that was the point of this whole thing. So it says Trump said that preventing Iran was having a nuclear weapon was 99% of what he wanted by launching Operation Epic Fury early this year. That was because he didn't want him to enrich. But then again, we really doing it. It wasn't even really for us. Of course, we don't want them to do that. And we're going to justify why we're attacking them. But we're spending more money to really protect Israel. I'm not going to lie, man. Because when Israel, they got their dome. Remember, they got a big dome that deters missiles. But Iran has more missiles. So the missiles it takes Israel to make to deter these missiles, Iran is shooting way more in, so they're getting in. So then, what did Trump do? He upped the fire, because we're trying to protect Israel. And then Israel's like, every chance Israel gets, because they have good intel, every time Israel gets, they're attacking people and they're killing off good big officials. But they have people in order. It's like, imagine we have president, okay? President get killed, vice president order, vice president, secretary of state, or whoever comes up under them, right? Secretary of Defense, all that stuff. So they just start to stack it down. They already know that they might get killed off, so then they have these people prepped because they know Israel's going to probably come for them. But look, we use epic theory to do what? We killed off their main, pretty much their president of their country. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that's been in power for a long time, leaving the son in power, which is more deranged. People don't understand that part. But it was a flex on Trump, like, yeah, we killed him, we'll do it. But it was a false move, because now you just cost us not only billions of dollars, hella time, and our economy was up and down, causing us a lot of money. You know, a lot of people can get in debt for over this stuff. Interest rates still maintain the same because of all this stuff. So I'm gonna say Trump kind of fucked up a little bit, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna give him grace on this part, because he kind of knew what he was doing, but that's not the point of this, right? The point of this is telling you that Israel, we had a deal signed and agreed. All these points are considered. What did they first say? It says including, but not limited to. It says the first paragraph of the agreement notes that the U.S., this is the point one, the first paragraph of the agreement notes that the U.S. and Iran and allies will declare an immediate and permanent termination of military operations on all fronts, including Lebanon. They had to include Lebanon due to the fact that they know they're going to be attacked. Now, why is this important? Because 3 days after the deal was signed by the United States and Donald Trump and Iran, Israel attacked Lebanon again, which does what? They're in like conflict of the agreement. So now, who do Lebanon do? They're not going to look at Israel like, we have a deal with your boss, which is technically, we're not their boss, but we're the ones protecting them. Now, what does that mean? That means the deal's off. Strait of Hormuz is closed again. Why is Strait of Hormuz closed? So now all this is closed right back down. You see all the red? Nobody's moving. Nobody's doing nothing. I think they're letting China through and shit, and Russia, but nobody else gets through. You know what I mean? So when Israel's doing that, they're kind of fucking up the oil for the rest of the world. I think this is 20% of the world's oil. So everything goes up. So not just our country. So for people to think that our country is just fucking up and it's our fault, it's not our fault. Trump was actually trying to solve the problem. It's Israel that's taking matters to their own hand. Like, they don't care. They want to kill people off. They want revenge. They're almost deranged. Now, they're going to justify it in their own ways, but it's not enough justifiable if we say, hey, man, we just made a deal, we signed this, it took us months, and it takes us billions of dollars, and we promised over $300 billion to this place, and you just go in there and say, fuck it. Attack them 3 days later. Like, oh, well, the United States don't get to control Israel, then we should not give you guys protection at all then. You know what I'm saying? It's like a girl, I'm gonna be honest, it's like you're dating a girl and you tell her, hey man, I don't want you out past this time. Not to give her rules or nothing, but she's like, I don't want you out here bothering people. And then she go out there, spit in a big ass dude's face, and then she run towards you to protect her, knowing that you're gonna protect her. That's how I look at it. Israel's the girl. She spit in the big ass, buff ass dude's face and run towards you to protect her because the buff ass dude's finna attack her back. That's how I look at it. But then now you gotta negotiate with the big ass buff dude, like, oh no, bro, it's cool, man. I don't want to fight you. I could fight you, but I'd really rather not, because this ain't really my fight. But I'm gonna protect her anyway, type shit. So that's the dumb down version. I gotta dumb it down a little bit because I like to make examples of stuff so it makes sense. Anyway, so if you look at your gas prices, that's why shit is up now. It doesn't go without everything else. So when the gas prices go up, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand that also everything goes up under that. You know why? I used to be a truck driver. I still have my CDL and everything, hazmat, triples and doubles, tankers. Um, when the gas goes up, the companies don't eat. So they want the companies to eat up the cost, right? Which means if the gas go up, they just take a loss on their end. That's not how capitalism works. Capitalism usually doesn't eat the cost. So if shit just costs more, they send it down to the consumer. Gas costs more. The truckers want more money to fill up their tanks because when you fill up a tank, bro, you be putting $800 in a tank. 800 just to get from New York to like Florida. You get what I'm saying? $800, maybe more. But when the gas prices go up, you know what I'm saying, you could be putting almost $1,000 in your tank now. And then your load is only worth like $1,500 when before you was putting in like $400 in your tank. And then the truck drivers don't want to eat it, of course, so they're gonna wait for a load until they get the proper load. The company don't want to eat it, so who they give it to? They increase the price of the goods that they're shipping. So when that person is transporting corn, wheat, what else? Shit that we need, eggs, fruit, all that shit gonna go up when the gas prices go up because it takes more money to. You get what I'm saying? If that makes sense. Does that make sense, ladies and gentlemen? Put a heart in the chat. Just heart it, so I know that y'all hit with it, man. If it does that make sense? When the gas prices go up, everything else goes up. And don't forget about natural inflation. Inflation is just gonna go up naturally. So that's just So naturally, inflation is gonna go up, but when the gas prices go up, everything goes up under it. So when Donald Trump's making a deal, because Donald Trump has got himself into this situation because of protecting the girl, Israel. And since the girl now is like, okay, I'm going to spit in the face of Iran, the big guy, which we're still bigger. We have to now protect the girl because she's like, oh, running scared. You know what I'm saying? And now we have to deal with the consequences because we made a deal with the guy that if you do this, then we'll be okay. And now the girl goes back and spit in the big guy's face again. That's basically what just happened, if that makes sense. So that being said, you have Trump somewhat opposing, like, hey, y'all should stop. This is the first time we've ever seen Trump actually speak on Israel in a bad way. Like, hey, y'all don't have to be blowing up these buildings saying you're looking for Hezbollah. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the same thing they did in Gaza. Are we looking for terrorist organization? So we're going to blow up this big ass building full of civilians because we know they could be in there hiding. Same goes to, we're gonna blow up this hospital because they could be in there hiding in the hospital. So we just gonna blow everybody up in there, and hopefully we hit them because they're hiding amongst the regular people. I don't know. I think Israel's on a crash mission. They don't give a damn because they got Big Brother right here beside them, and now they're going to, like, we don't need America. The people on BB's camp is saying, hey, America needs Israel now. Like, whoa. Imagine you help somebody because it benefits both of you, and then you really help them, and you're like, damn, bro, you costing me money. Now they're telling the help that y'all need them. It's like, what? First you help, then they think it's your that you're supposed to do it. Then they think you're obligated to do it. It's like, what the fuck? We've been helping you this whole time. We shouldn't even be. It's really finna be anti-Israel in here. But that's what people be like, oh, he's anti-Semitic. No one's anti-Semitic, bro. Like, you're causing America trouble. Regardless on what side you are, you're causing America trouble by not agreeing to the terms that we agree on. You don't have to go attack them because you feel like you need to get revenge, because not only are you fucking up America's oil source and our economy, you're also fucking up the other oil companies, because this deal says in allies. That includes all allies of us in Israel. So, like, when you look at the gas prices, everybody's gas prices go up. And this works for any economy, any functioning economy. If the gas prices go up, everything goes up. That means you have to have or make more money for the same good that you originally bought last week. there's a possibility you might be paying an extra $50 to $100 for the same thing that you bought last week. Exact thing. Now, people are bad. In America, we run on credit, so people don't really think about nothing. They just like, I just want to enjoy the moment. They just start swiping. And then you got our Fed chair. They come out and say, oh, now we're not raising the interest rate. I mean, we're not raising nor dropping the interest rate, so it just stays the same. You know what I'm saying? So, because they can't, because the Strait of Hormuz and everything is just up and down, up and down. So even if the economy did go bad, with the gas prices going high, they can't go in there and be like, all right, we're going to drop the interest rates. Because it's just one action away from something happening where they're like, okay, well, the interest rates, I lowered the interest rates, and now the gas go down. And it's like fucking up the economy. They got to predict what's going to happen next. It's kind of weird, bro. It's like a balance. You know what I mean? So, sorry to rant on this long, but I want to explain this. Let me end the video here. It's just a sticky situation. It's Israel's fault. It's the woos with a J. You know what I'm saying? you know, YouTube, man. They might try to attack me next. You know what I'm saying? But it's a possibility that those are individuals that might be at fault. But you know what I'm saying? I say to say this, that Americans are the ones suffering. So we have to deal with that. All right. Make sure y'all subscribe.